Hey Ahmad, good morning. Do you have your book? Very good. Ahmad. Nabia, good morning. Do you have your book, Nabia? Lovely day today. I need this. Sahar, good morning. Where are you? Do you have the book, Sahar? Good morning, Costa. Do you have the book? Just 1 week left for your Easter holiday. Okay, Emma, good morning. Feeling better? You need the book? Maybe you can see. I have written there. It's 1 minute left, so we wait a little bit. You can go to the book, page 132. 132. We're going to go there very soon. Natalie, good morning. Do you have the book, Natalie? Very good. Okay. We will get started. Jolly good morning, everyone. Before we start, I wanted to mention something about the national tests. I don't know if I mentioned last Tuesday, but all the national tests have been cancelled. Mustafa, good morning. And Claudia, okay, perhaps I should wait 30 seconds. Mariam. Natalie. Joyce, good morning. God morgon, det är fredag, en vecka kvar till påsklovet. Skönt med ett lov. Jag tänkte ta det på svenska först innan vi sätter igång. Nationella proven i engelska är inställda för alla årskurser. Då har Skolverket gått ut med den här informationen, och det här är viktigt att känna till. Förut var det så här att nationella proven vägde tyngre än de andra bedömningarna. God morgon Jonis. Det vill säga när ni har gjort nationella prov innan så har man ju gjort saker under året. Men nationella proven ska ha vägt lite tyngre. Nu är det precis tvärtom. Skolverket har gått ut att eftersom att det inte är några nationella prov och det är 1,5-2 månader kvar, så ska det man har gjort innan väga lite tyngre. Det betyder ju inte att det vi gör nu är oviktigt, absolut inte. Men bedömningen kan bli lite svårare. Och min plan är ju att ni på något sätt nu ska få visa ändå på de här olika, det är 5 förmågor i engelska. Ändå, trots att vi vet inte, vi kanske ses efter påsk eller inte. Men jag tänkte att vi idag ska göra en grej som kommer vara en språngbräda till nästa moment, som kommer vara ett litet speaking moment. Då kommer ni få göra det individuellt istället för att göra det 2-2 som är på nationella provet. Så får vi se hur det blir. Men så ni vet hur det ligger till. Okay. So, we need the book. Last lesson we read about your generation, Generation Z. And we also spoke about FOMO. Today we're going to mention a very important person within the civil rights movement. And this will be the kind of inspiration for your speech that you're going to start preparing next week. Okay? We're going to read a text called Quiet Strength. I love that title, Quiet Strength. Man säger att tala är silver, att tiga är guld. So we're going to read it and then you're going to do some exercises. I was going to try to do a listening exercise. We'll see if we manage today. And then studentlitteratur. Next week on Tuesday, I will introduce you to a small project that you will start next week, but you will finish it after Easter. Okay? Aisha, good morning. All right. So first of all, you can write in the chat, anyone who remembers what FOMO stands for. Write it, please, in the chat to see if you remember. Elaf, good morning. FOMO, what does that mean? Montella, good morning. Mustafa knows fear of missing out. Yes, fear of missing out. And I actually watched a documentary on SVT the day before yesterday about Iceland and about how many people that are addicted to social media or gaming and how they skip school from the age of 8-9 because they're addicted to social media or gaming. And they're also mentioning this word FOMO, fear of missing out. It's a kind of okay, I can see that many of you know the answer. Very good. Next year, in year 3, we're going to talk about social media. We have a part in the book, and then they mention FOMO again, but you will know about it. Larissa, good morning. Okay, so my question is, what was the civil rights movement? My first question, where did it take place? In which country? Write in the chat if you know. Which country do we connect to the civil rights movement? Anyone? Write in the chat. Civil rights movement. Yes, very good. United States. Okay. Which period, more or less, did this civil rights movement take place? Was it in the 1700s, in the 1800s, in the 1900s? Was it 1790s, 1850s, 1980s? More or less, if you know, write in the chat. Civil rights movement. Very good. 50s, 60s, we say. So the civil rights movement. And there were other movements in the world taking place. Yes, 1950s and 60s. In South Africa, a little bit earlier, another movement started. And then in India, that also have the same kind of social struggle for justice. So this took place in the United States. What was the struggle in South Africa? Anyone? Who was the lead person for the struggle for equal rights in South Africa? Could you write in the margin? Do you know the name of that person who was responsible for ANC and to abolish apartheid? Anyone? Write in the chat. We're talking about South Africa. Nelson Mandela. Yes, very good. Okay, and when this person was in South Africa and noticed the apartheid, but they separated races, when he came back to India, he started another movement for social justice, which led to the independence for India from the United Kingdom. Who was this person in India who fought for freedom? Anyone? Write the name. Could be hard to spell, but I will understand anyway. Who was the Indian man who fought for, yes, Mahatma Gandhi. Very good. Okay, so we're talking about the last century. There were several movements for equality, for civil rights, for rights in terms of the law. Okay. And today we're going to talk about this person, Rosa Parks, an American woman who did something that kind of started, you know, the snowball effect, when you start something and then it grows bigger and bigger. Her name is Rosa Parks, and we're going to read a text about her in Solid Gold today. Because next week I will give you an assignment of speaking. You're going to choose one person that somewhat have made a change in the world. Okay? For instance, we have been speaking about Malala Yousafzai, perhaps Rosa Parks, perhaps Martin Luther King, perhaps Mahatma Gandhi, perhaps a musician, perhaps an artist, politician, I don't know. But someone who have made a change in a positive way, not in a negative way, in a positive way. So you're going to pick one person each, and you're going to hold a short speech about that person. But that I will introduce you to on Tuesday. I just wanted you to know, okay? So, now, first we're going to go to the words on page 378 before we listen to the text. This is a short text. I'm sorry, but I'm in classroom 15. The sun is shining through the window. So first we will listen to the words, and then we're going to listen to the text, and you're going to do some exercises on that, okay? So 378, I will screen the words on the whiteboard. The title of this text, Quiet Strength, I love it. Nelson Mandela, he was a spokesperson for non-violence, which meant change things without using arms, without using violence. And he succeeded, more or less. That at least was his message, to change things without violence, okay? So I think Quiet Strength is a beautiful title of a text. So you take your book on page 378, and we will listen to the words first, so you know more or less what this is about. You know, we have to learn 500 new words per year, okay? Perhaps you can use some of these words in your speech. If you can't see the words on the screen, you can look at them in your book, or you can listen. I know there is a little bit of echo in this classroom, but still.
Sensible, förnuftig. Oracle, rakryggat. Dingy, sjabbig, mörk. Ignite. Tända. Conviction.
Fällande dom.
Disorderly conduct.
Störande beteende.
The Montgomery Improvement Association.
En förening startad 1955 med syftet att motverka rassegregation.
Vad betyder ordet segregation? Jag kan, det ljuset är faktiskt av. Jag är ledsen. Jag kanske kan göra så här. Ni har ju ändå boken hemma, men jag förstår att ni inte riktigt ser. Mona, jag kommer gå igenom det på tisdag. Superroligt. Vad betyder ordet segregation? Orden är på sidan 378. 378. Jag kan skriva det här. Jag skriver inget. Nu. Dela upp samhället i grupper. Precis. Segregation betyder att man delar upp beroende på kanske inkomst, ras. Ja, det kan vara massa olika. Man delar upp i grupper. Det är oftast inget bra för ett samhälle att man delar upp. Utan det bästa är att man blandar sig med varandra. Okej? Okay? We will continue.
Hold a rally.
Hålla ett massmöte.
Det här är ett väldigt bra ord. Hold a rally. Rally är alltså möte. Det kan också vara en slags demonstration.
Pew.
Kyrkbänk.
Trample.
Trampa.
Oppression.
Förtryck.
Amidst.
Mitt bland.
Piercing.
Stickande.
Mere.
Blott. Bara.
Presence.
Närvaro.
Oppression är ju ett sånt ord som är bra. Försök att plocka åt några ord som ni tänker att ni ska kunna använda.
Galvanize.
Sporra.
Trudge.
Traska.
Carpool.
Samåka.
Stately.
Ståtlig.
Bold.
Djärv.
Glowering.
Blängande.
Obituary.
Minnesruna.
Small in stature.
Liten till växten.
Vad är en minnesurna? Någon som kan skriva här. Vad är en minnesurna? Någon? En urna är ju egentligen en slags liten kruka med ett lock. Till exempel om man blir kremerad när man dör så kan man förvara askan i en urna. Minnesurna kan också vara till exempel en gravsten eller någonting som reses för en död person. Man skriver till exempel någonting om den personen. Men?
Humility.
Ödmjukhet.
Fortitude.
Mod. Styrka.
Bra ord. Humility och fortitude.
Implicit.
Underförstådd.
Courageous.
Modig.
Paradox.
Motsägelse.
Assumption.
Antagande.
Give credit to.
Sätta tro till.
Okay, I know this is a good way to start reading a text, to start with the words, because then you know more or less, okay, these difficult words will appear in the text. I know more or less what the text will be about, okay? So now we're going to do a little bit of reading on page 132. Can you hear anything when I put it on? Hey, Melika, can you hear anything? Could you just write yes or no? Or is it echoing? Can you hear? Yes? Okay. So go to page 132. Just 2 pages. Quiet strength. And this is about the civil rights movement, which took place during the 1950s and 1960s in the US. And we're going to listen to the text. Okay? I might stop every now and then.
Quiet Strength
by Susan Kay.
Montgomery, Alabama, December 1st, 1955. Early evening. A public bus pulls to a stop, and a sensibly dressed woman in her 40s gets on. She carries herself erectly, despite having spent the day bent over an ironing board in a dingy basement tailor shop at the Montgomery Fair department store.
Vad jobbar hon som? Rosa Parks. The day bent over an ironing board in a dingy basement tailor shop. Skriv i chatten. Vad jobbar Rosa Parks som? What is an iron board? Ironing board. Vad gör man då? If you iron. Skriv i chatten. Man stryker kläder hos en skräddare. Jag stryker. Bra, Mustafa, Nabia, ni är på bollen där. Kanske ta lite innan ni kan skriva där, innan det kommer upp. Ja. Så hon jobbade alltså med att stryka kläder hos en skräddare en hel dag. Ganska tuff, man kan tänka att man är väldigt trött, man har ont i ryggen.
Her feet are swollen, her shoulders ache. She sits in the first row of the colored section and watches quietly as the bus fills with riders, until the driver orders her to give her seat to a white passenger. The woman utters a single word that ignites one of the most important civil rights protests of the 20th century. One word that helps America find its better self. The word is no. The driver threatens to have her arrested. You may do that, says Rosa Parks. A police officer arrives. He asks Parks why she won't move. Why do you all push us around? She answers simply. I don't know, he says, but the law is the law and you're under arrest.
Okay, this was the period when there were segregations and there were different laws based on race. You can also read this text from another perspective. It doesn't have to do with race. You can be pushed around between a family, you can be pushed around in school, among friends, religions. It doesn't only have to do with it. So try to read this text with different kind of perspectives in your head, okay?
On the afternoon of her trial and conviction for disorderly conduct, the Montgomery Improvement Association holds a rally for Parks at the Holt Street Baptist Church in the poorest section of town. 5,000 gather to support Parks's lonely act of courage. They squeeze inside the church until its pews can hold no more. The rest wait patiently outside, listening through loudspeakers. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. addresses the crowd. There comes a time that people get tired of being trampled over by the iron feet of oppression, he tells them. There comes a time when people get tired of being pushed out of the glittering sunlight of life's July and left standing amid the piercing chill of an alpine November.
Okay, Martin Luther King, you know about him, and he did the March on Washington in 1963. Washington, which is the capital city of the United States. So there were 200,000 people listening to his famous speech, I Have a Dream, 1963. Then 5 years later, he was assassinated, he was killed. Okay.
He praises Parks' bravery and hugs her. She stands silently, her mere presence enough to galvanize the crowd. The association launches a citywide bus boycott, that last 381 days. The people trudge miles to work. They carpool with strangers. They change the course of American history. I'd always imagined Rosa Parks as a stately woman with a bold temperament.
Okay, so this is related to the title Quiet Strength. Okay, you have these laws. I don't accept the laws, but I don't use violence or arms or anything such. We boycott the buses, which means we are not going on your buses and you will earn no money. Just like now with the coronavirus, that, okay, we can shut the kind of faucet, the water tap to your money, to you earning money. So that's a way to protest. So for 381 days, all Black people didn't go by buses. They used carpools, they used other ways to get to work. Okay, so it was kind of way to say, we don't accept your laws. And this you can do in any situation, actually.
Someone who could easily stand up to a busload of glowering passengers. But when she died in 2005 at the age of 92, the flood of obituaries recalled her as soft-spoken, sweet, and small in stature. They said she was timid and shy, but had the courage of a lion. They were full of phrases like radical humility and quiet fortitude. What does it mean to be quiet and have fortitude? These descriptions asked implicitly. How could you be shy and courageous? Parks herself seemed aware of this paradox, calling her autobiography Quiet Strength, a title that challenges us to question our assumptions. Why shouldn't quiet be strong? And what else can quiet do that we don't give it credit for?
So, autobiography is when you write your book yourself. A biography is when someone else writes a book about you, you remember. I love this about quiet strength. Think about if someone would hit you and you don't hit back. It's a kind of strength, isn't it? Okay, very good. I guess you knew about Rosa Parks. She's a famous person within the civil rights movement. So Rosa Parks, you have Martin Luther King, and also Malcolm X. And Malcolm X was also for freedom fight of the United States. Freedom, well, slavery finished or was abolished during the Civil War in the United States, 1861 to 1865. So in law, it was abolished, but still there was segregation. So Malcolm X fought for Black Muslims in the United States, and you had Martin Luther King, and then also Rosa Parks. We kind of started this bus boycott thing. Right, which page? Okay, now you're going to do exercises on page 307. The text you found on 132. Okay, so the text was on 132. I can write here in the comment. Yes, thank you. You did already. Let's go to page 307. I'm going to screen it. Here's a one word only. This is a very good exercise. This is similar to a kind of one word gap in the national tests. I will try now to be focused on the abilities that are in the national test, but will not be assessed as a national test. So now we've done some reading comprehension, and you have done the TED Talks, which is a kind of listening comprehension. Next week, my first year students are going to try your TED Talks. And now we do this kind of one word gap, but based on the text. So you read the following text about the US civil rights movement and write one word in each gap. The word you write must make sense in the text and be grammatically correct. I'm going to go to that page as well. We can do the first one together, and then I will leave you for a couple of minutes to try yourselves. This is on page 307.
During the early 20th, 1. In southern states, racial segregation was the norm.
Okay. What could be the word missing? Write in the chat. Which word could be missing? During the early 20th. Anyone? Very good, Mustafa. Century. Sidan 307. Vi ska se vad jag kan skriva det någonstans. Här. Nej, jag kan skriva i chatten såklart. Ursäkta, det är jag som är lite seg. 307. Okay, so I write century. Perhaps we can continue a few together. It's nicer. So try to write in the chat.
And blacks had 2 opportunities.
Blacks had. Here you could have different options. Blacks had opportunities. Anyone? Write in the chat. Yes, Century was right on number 1. What about number 2? Blacks had I would say that there are 4 different options. No. No is one of the correct answers. Very good. They had no opportunities. I'm going to write no. It could also be few opportunities, less, very good, less opportunities, limited opportunities, and restricted opportunities, bad opportunities. Could work, but I would say limited, few, no, or restricted. Very good. This is a perfect exercise in vocabulary.
But the 1950s brought forces to bear that 3. Launch a powerful civil rights campaign.
This is hard. But the 1950s brought forces to bear that launch a powerful civil rights campaign. This is the perfect one-word gap exercise. Anyone? There's one word missing. A verb, ett verb. Någonting som skulle starta en. Something that would. Something that would launch. Okay, perhaps that was tricky. Number 4.
Black soldiers who had 4 in the war beside whites came home 5 to work beside them.
Nu är det 2 stycken här. Black soldiers who had in the war, den här kanske inte är jättesvår just den. Beside whites came home to work beside them. Anyone? Very good. Fought. Good, Costa Joyce. Who fought in the war beside whites came back home. This perhaps is trickier. You could have different options. Could be hoping, wanting. Expecting, anticipating, I'm going to write wanting. Wanting to work beside them. Okay, now we'll give you 1 minute to try a few of the following yourselves. I'll put this alarm, 1 minute, and then we'll go through. Try yourself for 1 minute. Page 307. Okay, so let's go to number 6. The black media flourished, spreading news of injustice. Black lawyers chipped. Anyone?
The black media flourished, spreading news of injustice. Black lawyers chipped 6 at legal justifications for segregation.
Any suggestions? English 6 is a little bit more trickier in terms of vocabulary. Which is the missing word? It's just one word. It's an expression, to chip. You can write in the chat. I can see that many of you have participated. Perhaps this one is tricky. You chip away, okay? Let's go to number 7.
And black students, 7 times disobeying their parents, planned demonstrations.
And black students times disobeying their parents planned this demonstration. Ibland, vilket är det lilla ordet som fattas? Ibland. Spend times of disobeying. Ja, men det är med att de tillbringar tid. En bra gissning. At times. Alltså ibland. At times disobeying. At times. Okay.
Ministers saw a religious context to the civil rights struggle. 8. Them, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.
Bland dem, vilket är ordet som fattas? Bra Hassan. Bland dem. Ministers saw a religious context to the civil rights struggle. Then, the Reverend Martin Luther King. Any suggestions? Bland. Among eller amongst. Bland. Jag skriver amongst. Then the Reverend Martin Luther King, a gifted orator. Det är någon som pratar, som kan hålla tal.
A gifted orator who had been 9 by India's Mahatma Gandhi in his belief in non-violent protest rose quickly to 10, the movement.
Om man läser, who had been Här kan det vara många olika alternativ. Ja, among, just det. Nu ser jag. Jag tror att det tar lite tid för er innan det ni skriver kommer upp. Jag ska vara lite mer tålamod. Number 9. A gifted orator who had been by India's Mahatma Gandhi in his belief in non-violent protest. Any suggestions? Who had been by Mahatma Gandhi? Here there could be many different options. Who had been... I want each and everyone to write what you think is the correct answer. Martin Luther King, who had been by India's Mahatma Gandhi. Killed. Side. Inspired. Inspired is one of the words that work. In the key, it's influenced, guided, inspired, affected, motivated, or changed. So inspired, Costa, works. But I'm glad that many of you tried to write an option. That's very good. Inspired by India's Mahatma Gandhi, in his belief in non-violent protest, rose quickly to the movement. Vi pratar alltså om Martin Luther King som blev inspirerad av Mahatma Gandhi. Rose quickly to lead. Very good. Lead the movement. Could be champion the movement, start, command. Lead funkar jättebra. Bra, Nadia. To lead the movement.
It was a movement of children and adults, preachers and lawyers, sharecroppers and presidents. They all 11. A sense of urgency, a sense that no matter what, they could not 12. Back.
Okay. Number 11. It was a movement, en rörelse, of children and adults, preachers and lawyers, sharecroppers and presidents. They all a sense of urgency. Här ska det vara bra alternativ så här. Alla kände en slags, eller erfor. Vi är på nummer 11. Nummer 11. De kände 11. Ni är fina, som hjälper varandra. They all, förslag. Fält, bra. Very good. Fält. Finns det några mer? Had eller experience. Men kan skriva ditt alternativ där, Costa. Felt a sense of urgency. A sense that no matter what, they could not back. Sista här. They could not back. Det är att man typ inte kan vända om. Nu är bollen i rullning. Stand back. Ingen dum gissning. Go back funkar. Go och turn funkar. There's no turn back. Har ni hört det? Så go eller turn. Vi använder din där, Hassan och Nadia. No, go back. Okay, very good. Good job. This could have been a national test exercise of one word gap. So it tests your ability to hear which word is missing. För att om jag skulle säga på svenska, i morse gick jag 7:00. Då fattar ni direkt att det är ordet upp som fattas, eller hur? Och det betyder att man har en känsla för språket. Och har man en bra känsla för språket så hör man vilket ord som missas eller som fattas. Så det här är en träning i att öva upp en känsla för språket. Och den får man om man kan många ord. Very good. Okay, now we have done the exercise on page 307. And I was thinking about doing a listening exercise, but I'm a little bit uncertain. Could you hear well when we did this? Because in that case, we could try to do a listening exercise on page 321. What's the topic? This is the kind of old national test. So exercise reading and listening comprehension. Or do you want to work individually with studentlitteratur? Could you write, so either listening exercise or studentlitteratur? You can write in the chat. Listening exercise or studentlitteratur with exercises. What do you think? Or perhaps we could do both. Okay, we start with studentlitteratur. I have some exercises there. We do those for about 12 minutes. Okay, so log on to studentlitteratur. I will also log on here. So I'm going to put a new assignment on chapter 9, quiet strength. The text you have already read, so I will take away this. One word only, I think it's the one that we have done now. But you can do it again, of course. I'm going to add a grammar exercise on nationality words. Let's choose all the students. And you can do this until the 30th of March. Okay, studentlitteratur with quiet strength. In 12 minutes, you should manage to do 2 or 3 exercises at least. And when you have done an exercise, remember to tick the box in the margin. Okay, so studentlitteratur.se. And to do quiet strength, so word work. So here I can see the exercises you have done. One word only, yes, or word match. If you want to start with word match, you can do that. It doesn't matter which order, you can start in whatever order. Nasro, I can see that you're in, very good. Okay, so you can do the word match. Do that 12 minutes. Okay, now I have my timer on. Here I can see how many exercises you have done, and I can also enter each student to see how long it took, how many attempts. So don't rush through. Take your time. You can do it over and over again. Emma, you are in the lead with 33 exercises. Very good. I can't see that you're all in student literature. Do you have difficulties in getting in? Ska vi se. 8 minutes left. Oj, Okay, 10 people are in, studentlitteratur. Ahmed, good morning. Oops, what's happening? Ahmed, Mustafa, Claudia, Hassan, Sahar, Nadia, Melika, Nasr, Costa, Elaf, Emma. Okay, the rest? Okay. 2.5 more minutes. Man kan också se hur länge sedan ni loggade in, vilka uppdrag ni har gjort, hur lång tid det tog, hur många försök ni gjorde och så vidare. Bra. Very good. So 1 more minute with the exercises. Okay, you can start stopping. Okay. Now I'm going to take attendance and then I'm going to inform you about next week. So I want all of you now to write your name in the chat, please. Can you do that, please, now? So write your name in the chat now. That's for attendance. So when you write your name, then I'm going to tell you what we do next week. We are approaching the end of this class. Oj, nu var det någon som kom in i chatten 23. Okay, write your name, please. At the bottom, you can write your name. Is there some problem? Are there problems about the chat, perhaps? Can you see the chat? It's hard to know. Could someone text me on my telephone and tell me if you can hear me now? It's just that perhaps you cannot join the chat. I think you have my number. So if you just text me and tell me, okay, we can hear you, but we cannot write anything in the chat. Jag skriver i chatten. Jag kan inte se. Är det jag som inte kan ansluta? Okej, ni hör mig. Jag hör ju inte er tyvärr. Men jag kan inte komma in i chatten. Okej, vad bra. Okay, I guess we do like this. That you text me on my telephone instead. I don't know why I can't see the chat. Well, next week, if you can see, we're going to start a small project, as I announced at the beginning of the class, which means that you're going to pick one person that you think has changed the world in better, which means it could be anyone, politician, freedom fighter, an artist, a musician, a sports person. I know that you might think about your parents, perhaps, or relatives, but we're going to get to a more public person who has done something great for a larger mass of people, if you know what I mean. But on Tuesday, I will introduce you to this. We're going to do a warm-up exercise about a few different famous people. And then you're going to pick one. You're going to start preparing your script. It's going to be a shorter speech. I'm not thinking about anything long because it's a kind of informative speech. You remember last year you did 1 minute speech, do you remember? This is your second year, so I thought you're going to do a 2 minute speech, okay? But I will inform you more about that on Tuesday. I wish you all a very, very nice weekend. Don't forget to go outside to take a walk in the sun. You need the sun and you need to move, otherwise you get too stressed, okay? Have a nice weekend, all of you. I cannot see the chat, so I don't know why. But you can text me, and many of you have already done that. Okay, see you, bye.